This is About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. Sit back and enjoy.
Greetings, fam. Today I'm going to talk about building a financial house with an uncooperative spouse. Basically, it ain't going to happen. But first, I want to shout out one of my supporters, Xavier Franz, for asking about this topic, right? But building a financial house. Now, I just did a pair of videos on building a financial house. You know, you want to, have that income coming in, and then, you want it to go ultimately to all the windows, particularly the income producing asset window, right? So in order to do that, you got to have a certain financial philosophy. You can't just be willy-nilly, because if you willy-nilly with that, you're not going to have the discipline to build up the money to get an asset. You just can't. Unless you making, no, even if you got a job, you making six figures, you still got to be disciplined with that money, because sometimes people get a high-paying job, and I've seen this a lot. They'll get a high-paying job, and other than a house which takes a bunch of money out, just a house they living in, which drains their money, which is a wealth reducing liability. Shoot, they ain't really spending money on anything. You get a lot of people, they just spend money on all the toys, the car, house, everything, and their wealth is just reduced. That's why you get people who are making high salaries who don't have anything to show for it, right? So, it takes a while. It takes some discipline. You might have to forego some things. But see, say you a person who follows the financial house. You like, all right, I know what I need to do. I got to save some money. I got to find an income producing asset, right? But you marry somebody. And I got mostly men in here, but it can happen with women too. You marry a spouse. Okay, you trying to save money. They trying to keep up with the Joneses. Y'all see what the problem is? Because let's be real. Falling out of love, the whole, I love you, but I'm not in love with you thing, is really not the biggest cause of breakups. It really isn't. It isn't the biggest cause of breakups. The lack of not having sex ain't the biggest cause, because you got a lot of couples out there, they still working together, but it's more of a money thing. No, the biggest cause of a breakup is really money and money philosophy. You can have one partner with an abundance mindset. They trying to get paid. They see all the opportunities, and then another person with a poverty mindset. They can't see anything. They pretty much going to be broke. They pretty much ain't going to go any place. You know what I'm saying? So, that's some crazy stuff. That's some crazy stuff. You can't, you unequally yoked. See, understand something when you married, right? Understand one little thing. Now, I know a lot of people get married because, they love the other person and, can't live without them. They see a future with them. And something I would probably need to get into on my other channel. A lot of times that's just based on lust anyway. Or even if they find it a person. Okay, that's cool. You love that person. You like having sex with them. You like having talking with them. Sometimes you can't marry that person. Because when you tie that knot, when you walk down that aisle or dance down the aisle, depending on the culture, you are in for a rude awakening. You're in for a rude awakening, because all of a sudden, okay, yeah, y'all having sex. Y'all can kissy all over the place. It's so romantic. But y'all move in together. Everything cool until that first month's rent come. Everything okay until the child comes. And anybody with children know, you putting out some money. And you putting out some money for at least 18 years, or at least as long until they get to the point they can bring in their own money. But you're going to be putting out some money. And even if as long as they living with you, even if they get a job, they become teenagers, get a job or something, you still putting out money, because they taking out electricity. They eating your food. So that's another thing. You get a bunch of stuff, and then you got to think about where you working. It's a whole bunch of stuff. All of a sudden, that thing that came together based on that thing called love is all about, all right, we in business now. You get two people together. If you bringing in money, you gotta think, all right, we in business, because one, you gotta think about, all right, what kind of bank account we're gonna have, what kind of savings, what are our goals. If you're a young couple, you're living in an apartment, you might want a house. You need to work towards that. And y'all need to be on the same page money-wise. If y'all together, even if y'all have separate accounts, y'all need to be on the same page money-wise. Because let's use the house example. You're a young couple. You got one spouse might want a house. You got some kids on the way. It's like, you know what? This apartment is a little small. They slow about fixing things around here. Always hearing the neighbors bone every night. Shoot, you like, okay, we gotta either get a better apartment when we get this house over here. Right? Now, one spouse is thinking that, right? All right, in order to get this house, you know what? We got to watch our credit, and we got to save some money for a down payment, because we won't get into like subprime loans and stuff. But you got to save that money, right? All right, boom, right? You got one spouse thinking that. Now, the other spouse might think it, but they try and keep up with the Joneses. Instead of saving money, they're going to buy little things, or they're going to always be getting into everything. Basically, they spending money. Like money will burn a hole in their pocket. All of a sudden, you got a basis for conflict. All of a sudden, you might not be able to get that house or something because, the person just had to get that car, or the person just had to get that dress, or just had to get those shoes that they know they're going to wear one time just so it match some outfit to go to some party with a bunch of people that you don't know. And that's men and women. Let's just keep it 100. This is men and women. Despite what some guys want to think, there's some women out there very frugal with their money. So this is men and women. So that's why I say spouse. You're not going to, look, it's not going to happen. Because the one thing, when people have an idea about what they want to do, how they want to live, it takes years and people falling on their ass, being in the dirt to realize, hey, maybe I need to change my money philosophy. That's why you will get the average person out there will die broke. Or that's why you get a lot of older people who are barely making it. That's why a lot of people, older people, going back to work at some place. It ain't that to stay busy. They need to bring in money. So you got to start thinking about those things. Well, my point with that was people don't necessarily change it. So you trying to build something you trying to build a financial house. You know what? You saw my video. You bought Myron Golden's book. You like, oh, this makes perfect sense. I'm trying to build it. And the woman or man, I'm going to say the spouse. Let me keep it fair. The spouse is looking at, well, all right, you want to buy that 4-unit building, but the neighbor up the street just got a nice car. I got to get a car to blow that away. The neighbor just got their driveway paved. We got to do that. So they thinking that same thing, even if they want it. They thinking in the moment, you thinking ahead. Look, it's not going to work. I'm going to tell you what, and this is just some real talk. Anybody thinking about getting married, in fact, even during the dating process, you should get an idea about that person's money philosophy. Like, I know a lot of people, they just want to date, have fun, and then they don't want to think about it, And another video, which will probably go on the other channel, is think about that person's spiritual beliefs. But that's something else. Right here, we talking business. You better find out what that person's money philosophy is. Like I did a video on my other channel about, being cheap and proud. That's one thing. When I deal with a woman, part of the thing I'm looking at is how she want to spend money. Because I know my thing is about the income producing assets, which means I got to save money. And I'm real funny about that. Like, I've actually known some women who were like insisting on me spending money on them. Like, oh, I need you to spend money on me and everything. And I'm looking at them like, okay, I already know I can't build anything with this woman. I already know. Because the thing is, if it was a woman to build with, she'd be like, look, why don't we save this money? We get to know each other. We're going to go forward. Then we can, put our money together, really get some shit. Hell, I might propose on the spot. Meet that type of person. But no, when y'all out here, even when you dealing, when you got to think about it, and don't think in terms like, oh, you can change their mind, because they got a fat ass for the men, or, they got big chests and tall for the women. Don't think you can change their mind. You need to find out then and just be honest about it. If you try and if you just want to just for the moment thing, hey, you can do whatever. But if you talking about getting married, building something, you building a legacy. Because when you think about it, right, you're not just building for yourself. If you have children, you're actually going to leave that wealth. That's how a lot of people are wealthy. That's why you got a lot of people who are really have some real wealth, because their parents, and even before them, their grandparents started building that wealth. So you got to think, you ain't just thinking about just having some car you can drive around. You got to think, all right, what am I leaving future generations? That's how wealthy people think. That's how wealthy families think. And then even when they mate with people typically who are going to keep that going. So building a financial house with an uncooperative spouse can't be done, dog. Don't even try. Don't force the person. If that person, as you did in the dating process, show they have a different money philosophy from what you have, you need, I don't care what's going on, don't think they're going to change. Just be like, you know what, this ain't going to work out. And honestly, you should tell them. I mean, if they want to spend money on some frivolous things and you trying to save, just be honest with them. People have every right to do what they want with their money. But if you trying to build something, you got the right to do with your money what you want to, and you need to be with somebody who's on that same page. So that's it for today. Let's go make that money.